So in this video, we're going to look at the non-cooperation movement. In the previous video, we looked at the causes of the non-cooperation movement, causes that led to the non-cooperation movement. So on August 1st of 1920, Gandhi launched the non-cooperation movement. The Khilafat had already given its assent to the movement in June because of the treatment that was meted out to the Caliph of the Ottoman Empire. By September, the Indian National Congress also joined the non-cooperation movement. You can clearly understand by the statement that Gandhi started the non-cooperation movement even before the Indian National Congress had joined it. Such was the stature of Gandhi by 1920. Legislative Council elections were boycotted by the Congress. So, what did the non cooperation movement mean? What did it involve? These are the questions we are going to answer. Non cooperation included a wide array of subjects. As Bipin Chandra puts it, non cooperation includes the surrender of titles and honors, boycott of government affiliated schools and colleges, law courts, foreign cloth, and this could be extended to include resignation from government service and mass civil disobedience movements, including the non payment of taxes. All of this together could be considered as non cooperation. Mass action in contravention to the forced system of British governance was included within the definition of non cooperation movement. An alternate indigenous system was to be set up. An Indian education system with schools and colleges, an Indian judiciary revolving around the panchayat as the basic institution of justice, and Indian industries were set up. Weaving and hand spinning were especially close to Gandhi's heart. In the December 1920 Congress session, the non cooperation movement was embraced fully. Gandhi promised Congress that if all of the above actions were taken in a peaceful and non-violent manner, Swaraj could be obtained within a year. Emboldened by the new and bold leadership, the goal of the Congress was changed from the attainment of self-government by constitutional and legal means to the attainment of Swaraj by peaceful and legitimate means. This was a groundbreaking moment, right? It was not just self government through legal and constitutional means. Now, the goal was Swaraj by peaceful and legitimate means. The Congress also altered its organizational structure. Provincial committees were to be formed on linguistic lines so that they could build a better rapport with the public. Membership fee was reduced to help mass participation of members in Congress. Mohalla committees or ward committees were formed so that political interaction could take place at the grassroots level. Gandhi, along with Khilafat leader Maulana Mohammad Ali, would tour across the country addressing hundreds of meetings and rallies. The boycott of educational institutions was very successful. Students left government affiliated institutions to join Indian schools and colleges. Prominent lawyers like Chittaranjan Das, Rajagopalachari, Vallabhbhai Patel, Aruna Asaf Ali, M.R. Jaikar, Motilal Nehru, Saifuddin Kichliu, and T. Prakasham gave up their well established practices. This created a wave of inspiration within the Congress and in the movement in general. The most successful part of the non cooperation movement was the boycott of foreign cloth. Foreign clothes would be collected from every household and burnt in a bonfire. Not only would this create a spectacle, drawing a lot more people nearer, the bonfire would itself help people feel a bit closer to the non cooperation movement. Gandhi was a fantastic leader who could draw large crowds within a few minutes. While on his tours to address public meetings, Gandhi would travel by train. He would get off from the train at small stops and persuade the crowd assembled to greet him to burn any foreign cloth they have on them. The bonfire would light up as soon as Gandhi would get on the train and leave behind a crowd of motivated people. The revenues of the government also took a hit. The import of cloth fell by almost half in 1921 as compared to the previous year. Other positive social outcomes included the picketing of toddy and liquor stores. This seriously impacted government revenue. The British government took out advertisements to say that drinking had positive effects to make sure that the tax money did not reduce. Gandhi also asked to focus on cottage industries like hand spinning, weaving, etc., with the use of charkhas. Khadi had become the symbol of the national movement by now. Gandhi was also fantastic at motivating and taking action on the spot. While addressing students in the temple town of Madurai, some students complained that khadi was very expensive and poor students and poor people could not afford it. Gandhi said that the solution lay in wearing lesser clothes. He abandoned his kurta dhoti and switched over to his half dhoti for the rest of his life. Focus was also shifted to the burgeoning of the Congress funds. The Tilak Swaraj Fund had exceeded 1 crore rupees. Remember, this was in 1920. You could buy whole villages for 1 crore rupees at that time. Revenue from membership fee alone was half a crore rupees. In July 1921, at the All India Khilafat conference held at Karachi, Maulana Mohammad Ali declared that it was religiously unlawful for the Muslims to continue in the British Army. Muhammad Ali and other leaders were immediately arrested. This raised the sentiment among the Muslims, and his speech was repeated all over the country innumerable times. This was one of the first times that the British were scared that the Muslims would not be with them. In October 1921, Gandhi and Congress issued and adopted a manifesto that asked every member of the armed forces and the civilians to cut all ties with the occupying British forces and its wretched polity. Wherever possible, the Congress also tried to organize alternate systems of governance and police. The Congress Volunteer Corps emerged as a powerful parallel police force. They would dress up in uniforms and march through the streets, which definitely irked the ruling British forces. The Congress had also granted permission to provincial committees to sanction civil disobedience movements wherever it was possible at a local level. Gandhi, however, was very firm that there should be no violence involved. Smaller local movements like Kisan movements and other local issues joined the non cooperation movements across the country. This was now like a burgeoning river. Strikes on labor plantations in Assam, railway workers, streamers workers union all went on strikes in Bengal and Assam. Remember, Bengal and Punjab were always the nerve centers whenever there was some big movement planned. Forest laws were defied across the Deccan Plateau. Parts of Rajasthan saw tribal movements as well. The joining of these small scale local movements into a pan India national non cooperation movement helped generate a larger wave of enthusiasm and euphoria. By the end of 1921, the government could no longer wait and watch. It declared the volunteer corps, the alternate police force of the Congress, as illegal and began arresting its members. Chittaranjan Das was one of the first members to be detained. Civil liberties of normal people were largely curtailed in addition to detention of political leaders. Gandhi wrote letters requesting the release of these leaders and to remove the barriers on civil liberties, but the viceroy would not respond. This would force Gandhi to launch the civil disobedience movement in Bardoli. However, the civil disobedience movement was never launched. On February 5th, 1922, the Chaura incident happened. Police brutality in Chaura led to an attack on the police forces by the civilians. The police opened fire on the innocent public. The public reacted and set the police station on fire. Gandhi withdrew the non cooperation movement on hearing this. A lot of debate has happened on Gandhi's decision to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Gandhi, in a way, found an excuse to not launch the civil disobedience movement because he was still not very sure if his cadre and the cadre of the Congress had the necessary discipline to carry out a civil disobedience movement. Also, the non cooperation movement was the first mega movement that Gandhi had launched. It could also be debated as to whether Gandhi himself had the conviction in 1922 to launch such a movement. Gandhi did whatever he thought was necessary at that time. We will discuss whether his decision was right or wrong in the video to come.